Ever met someone who felt brilliantly spiritual until later you realize they were feeding on your energy? The spirit world warns us long before it happens. In today's episode, we see how dreams pull back the mask of smiling deceivers, showing how false authority hides behind light language, charm, and even divine perfume. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello, welcome everybody. I am so excited you are here. It is going to be an exciting episode. All right, Michael.
Yeah, we promised last week that we were going to create a show about charlatans. And we did that because we covered that topic on our recent summit weekend. And it was super popular. A lot of people just showed up to hear that particular topic. And so we've taken some dreams that we've gotten very recently that chose this, because it's in so many dreams. It's just not a topic that we have really focused on. We've talked about it before, but every single dream this week is going to be a focus on it. And then the last thing I want to say is that we have our mentorship program starting in, I think it's a week's time, Sandy, is it?
So, November 2nd.
Yeah, if you're interested in that, then go to our website, dream-analysis.com, book a call with Sandy and see if it's for you.
Yeah. All right, let's dive in. This first dream is very interesting. It is fully understanding all other beings, and it's from Kay. I was with a few people. One guy seemed to be wanting to know something from me. I said to him, I speak the languages of other races. Races being other beings, not Earth. He asked which races. I said, most all of them. The guy was a little annoyed because he wanted me to list them specifically. And I said, when I'm speaking with them, I just automatically understand them, so never need to ask what language they are speaking. All right, Michael, let's see what you make of that one. I don't know how you're going to get this one to turn out to be a charlatan, so I'm excited to see.
All right, so the point of the dream is that Kay has an amazing channel and can connect with many beings, a gift that nefarious beings want. So shows her gift more than anything else. And when channeling on the dream, it was interesting because very quickly my angel team talked about beings coming into and out of Kay's space and that she is too trusting. So totally fits with our show. As humans, we have an encrypted channel. Nobody can hear the dialogue on it unless you tell someone what you're saying. It remains between you and your channel, whoever you're talking to on the other end of it. And when you talk to a being on a channel, you need to make sure they are not wearing a mask. Beings in the light do not wear masks. So check for a mask. If you see one, check what is behind it. And I channeled on this too. And members of her angel team, in fact, 2 of them, have the ability to do this for her. And they couldn't wait to tell her, hey, look, we have this ability. We can look behind masks. All you need to do is ask us, and we're going to tell you what's really going on with somebody that you meet. So use us so you can never get duped. We'll tell you what's behind someone's mask. Incidentally, this is true for humans too. You should never see someone wearing a mask. If this is someone you love and trust, it is very likely the mask was put on them by someone who targeted them, and they probably don't even know it's there. And the mask is to block you from seeing that they have been captured behind the scenes and what's going on behind the scenes. You know, we had this come up recently. Were you going to say something, Sandy?
After COVID, people still wear masks. So it's a different type of mask you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. So you're talking to somebody, you're a good channel, and you're able to just ask your team, hey, is this person wearing a mask? Or whatever. Maybe you're clairvoyant, you can see it, but you need to look for it or you won't see it. And they kind of look like wooden masks. They don't look like the cloth things that you would expect. But anyway, you can ask your team, are they wearing a mask? And sometimes you will be told, oh yeah, it's a mask, but it's just a please respect my privacy kind of mask. And what I've learned over time is don't trust that. Still look behind that mask. If there's ever a mask, look behind it. Nobody has a right to wear a mask in front of you at all. So you can ask your team, what's going on there? Is this somebody I should trust? Or what is their alternative motive? You know, if they're coming to me with this particular proposition, but is this true? Will this get me in hot water? Or whatever it happens to be. Yeah, so it's a spirit mask. And so when you're talking to people on your channel, talking to spirits on your channel, you also don't want to see them wearing a mask. And if they do, again, you want to ask, why have they got a mask on? This is a red flag. So why have they got a mask on? And should I trust them? And if you can't get an answer, the answer is no, because there shouldn't be that. So massive red flag. And we talked on the show about somebody performing services that were capturing other people. And the way to tell if the people are being captured was to look and see, are they being blocked from the High Council? Another word for the High Council is source. Is somebody being blocked from source? Who should ever be blocked from source? Nobody. That's where you get your power from. And so you can look and say, okay, is there something blocking them? And we went through a number of people because a number of people had asked, and it was like, oh yeah, this person has it, this person has it, this person has it, this one doesn't. And we cleared all the ones that had the issue. And then I came across one person and they said, oh yeah, she's got a mask. But they said, don't do anything about it now. You're going to do it later on. And it was really interesting because I thought, oh, this is the same issue because I was looking for the one thing. And this is how we often are as humans. We're focused looking in one narrow field. But if you see a mask, you don't know what's behind it. And when the time actually came and we looked behind the mask, this person's higher self had the mask on. So she looks like she's in the light, but she's not really in the light. And if you lift the mask off, you can see that. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't even be dealing with this person. There's never a good reason that the mask is there. If you see a mask, don't trust the person until you can figure out why that's there.
Very good point. So can we go back to the dream? There's so many things here. So I want to know, is the guy in this dream, is he a nefarious person? Because he's annoyed because he won't tell her she won't say what languages she's using.
So he really represents somebody who is looking for her particular gift. And this will happen for people who have very unusual gifts. And she has a very unusual gift. They're just going to be a target because these people can come along and they can see your gift. They can't use it. They can't get at it unless they sneaky somehow persuade you to let them have it. But they still see that it's there. And we're going to see this because we're doing a few of her dreams. We're going to see this repeated in more of her dreams.
Very interesting. And so she never has to ask what language they're speaking. So she is speaking to them normally, her way of speaking to them, and she doesn't need to ask. And so this guy is just not happy about it at all.
Yeah, he's basically saying
that right there.
How do you channel these beings? Like, do you ever go, oh, what language am I using when I'm talking to various different spirits in the light that you talk to? You don't. It's not a thing.
No. And I also don't speak it out loud.
Yeah, that's a massive red flag. Never speak it out loud. Like, don't share your question or dialogue. Don't talk to your angel team out loud. That's nuts. You might get away with it for a while, but it will eventually burn you. They're not physically in the room. Your channel is a non-physical structure that is permanently connected to you. And that's what you're using to talk to them. And it's encrypted for a very good reason. If you talk out loud, you no longer have an encrypted channel. And any rogue being in your space, human or connected to a human in your space, or a spirit that's in your space nefariously, they can listen to you giving away the keys of your kingdom because you're talking out loud. You'll remember this one, Sandy. One time while I was being attacked, I landed on a defensive configuration with my team and I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my gosh, this attack that had gone on for, I think, about a day and a half, it was like I was now so calm. I was like I was in the eye of the storm and I was ecstatic. And I was so excited, I blurted the configuration out to you and then wham, it was gone. The protection was gone and the attacks were landing on me again. You definitely don't say it out loud because if there's anyone nefarious around, that is what they're looking for. They're looking for you to give the combination to the lock. And anything you say gives it away. Even if you just say, for instance, I have a protector that is this type of protector. That's very vital information. Don't give away the game. It's like, I'm protected by a sniper that's up in the tree here with a long-sighted scope. And they go, okay, we're going to shoot him now that you told us where he is. So you don't give that away. It's just madness.
It is. All righty. That was really good. Well, looking at the dream, even though the guy got annoyed, how would you know he's really nefarious?
Well, here in the channeling, and it was really, like I said, her team were so happy to tell her, we have the ability with us to do this thing that you're not even asking us to do. Please do it because it's going to protect you going forward. But her team were basically saying she's too trusting. She should be thorough, and I thought that was a lovely way of put it. They said you should be thorough. Don't consider it as you don't trust people. Consider it that you're being thorough with people. And trustworthiness must be verified each time, even with familiar guides or teachers. No one should need a mask. And so you should be checking every time. So the lesson is check every single connection. Ask who's behind the mask before engaging. Here's another thing. Like, and you're very familiar with this, you might say something about it. High-level angels in the light expect you to challenge them. And the challenge is often to stab them with your sword. Every being in the light has a ceremonial sword gifted to them. And it's part of them. It's not just like you're holding it separately. It's part of you, can't be taken off you, all that sort of stuff. And so if you're in the light, you've got one of them. It's ceremonial, but it's functional. And if you stab a high-level angel with that sword, it tickles them. But if you stab someone who's not in the light, they just disappear. So it's something you definitely want to do. Want to say that, Sandy?
I think that's very interesting because that's what I do all the time. I stab high-level beings, especially if they come up to me and it's like, who are you? Do I know you? Okay, boom. All right, now you passed the test. I can talk to you.
And they don't mind that.
But no, they don't. And to be honest, I really hardly ever have any high-level beings come up to me that I am not aware I'm going to meet. So it's not like they come out of the blue, pop up and say, hey, guess what? I'm here. And I was like, really? Okay, let me stab you. I'm thorough. I'm excited to do this next dream because this one looks very interesting as well. This is another dream from Kay, and this is finding who knocked the ball off. There was a ball on a tee in front of a field. It seemed to be all mixed up. It was basketball size, though not the color of a basketball, sitting about knee height on a tee, like a tee ball, in front of a field, kind of like baseball, but not. Just before the game was to start, the ball fell off the tee. The rule was, if it was the player that did this, she would be out. So, for some reason, me and the referee needed to see who knocked it off. I could replay all the events before the ball fell. I could see all types of people walking past the ball that was teed up, and some walked very close, but they didn't knock it off. Then, as I watched, I noticed a long, thin, pitched tail, like a devil tail, had woven its way through the groups of people walking by the ball and field, and just lightly tapped the ball off the tee. I could follow the tail that wove through all the people and across the field to the player. So, he had, in fact, done it. He was lying across the field by some trees in a park area, asleep. I didn't want to wake him. Well, you know what, Michael? A long, thin, pitched tail like a devil tail? I'd wonder about that guy, that's for sure. All right, what do you have to say?
That you could tell there's something up. But somebody pretending to be asleep is also a tell. In reality, it's like, hey, I'm going to be the least suspected. I'm going to look like I'm asleep here, but I'm not. I'm really doing an attack. And this is how they do it. Usually their eyes are closed, or they go off camera, or whatever they do. Anyway, I selected this dream because it clearly shows nefarious activity, sneaky, and done to take someone else down. The replayability in the dream shows one of Kay's gifts. She can karmically trace events backwards to find the true cause. And that's really cool. Energy signatures and trails are very easy to follow for high-level beings, and there's all sorts of ways they can do it. And so it's not surprising to find somebody who has the ability that can do this. And we've already seen before with Kay that she has the ability to replay events that happened in the past. She's able to go back to a date and then start moving things forward. And she can just do it again and again. She just imagines a calendar, goes to a thing, and it just brings her to that time and she can trace them. So she already knew she had this gift. And here it was a long time later, they're saying, here's how you can use it to track somebody who's nefarious. Even if you got duped 6 months ago, you can use this to see who really did what in a given situation. Beautiful combination of gifts. Anyway, the devil's tail symbol reveals hidden interference, darker, mischievous energy that in the dream puts others off or knocks the ball off without being seen. And the rest of it demonstrates her capacity to track it down, locating the real attack vector rather than blaming the surface players. And it also warns that these influences can knock anyone off their game because they're doing it while everybody's on the pitch and all that sort of stuff. So it can knock everybody off, including her. So vigilance is required. There's nobody immune to this. The best you can do is check in with your team. So knowing you're not immune, nobody is. Check in with your team and say, did something happen here that I need to be told about? If you don't ask your team, sometimes they can't tell you.
That's really amazing. All right. We have to go back through this dream. There is so much in it. So, what is the ball in front of a field? I mean, there's something about this field and a T-ball. So, what's going on with all of that?
Yeah, so I'm not American, so I had to ask about what all that was. And it's like training for softball or baseball. And so you've got that kind of setup where the ball is placed at the perfect height for you and you're going to go up with your bat and hit it. So this should be something that just works perfectly for a person. And I love how that image is. It's like, it would be like me analyzing a dream for somebody, no problem whatsoever. Go and analyze a dream. And somebody can knock you off center. But it beautifully shows that this is what happens. This is what they do. They make the person who should look good, who it really is all about, fail at what they're trying to do.
Wow. Yeah, because you can see it that in all she saw, they didn't knock it off and they found who did, someone faking that they were asleep. So, what does it have to do with the field?
Well, that's just about life, playing the game of life. We've said it on the show before, like a lot of the times we will see people in the bleachers looking at the game. And really what that's saying is, look, you need to get into the game. You need to be using your gifts. You need to be in alignment with why you're here. And an awful lot of people aren't. A lot of people that listen to this show are, because that's what this show is all about. But you need to be on the field. And she is on the field. There's people on the field. But so it's people who are actually in the game who are being messed with by the nefarious people. But here's the big issue. People feel guilty when they challenge someone in the spiritual field. Like, why would you feel guilty? You can get really messed up if you give the wrong person or spirit access to your body. And if you give the wrong person access, they can typically give a bad spirit access to you via the permission that you just gave them. And you have every right to validate someone's credentials and drop them if you don't feel right about it. Nobody is above this. And I'm always looking for ways to get this through to good people because it is good people who get sucked in. So think of it this way. Inviting someone to clear you, to heal you, to do any type of energy work with you that requires your permission or you to be open to allow them to work on you or requires you to read something that does something to you is as intimate with sleeping with that person. You allow the wrong person access and you end up with somebody in your bed that you can't get rid of, at least not unless you're trained.
Yeah, so why didn't she want to wake him? What does that mean?
It's again just part of the trick that they play. And I thought you were going to say that was a great analogy, Michael. So you missed that opportunity there, Sandy.
It was a great analogy. I loved it. But I'm still focused on the dream because it's like, I want to know, why didn't she wake him? What is that about?
So this comes up again. She's not meant to wake people who are dark or nefarious. And we're going to see it, in fact, in the next dream. I channeled it in the next dream. I don't know that it's as explicitly stated as it is here. But it's always beautiful when you look at a series of dreams from the same person and you see, oh, wow, there's that again and there's that again. But people who are nefarious will pretend to be the one doing nothing. They don't wear a badge or a T-shirt that says, watch out for me. So they're going to look like the least likely person in the room. They often will appear like very bright, very knowledgeable, very, very aware, almost like they're the only person who can help you with whatever the issue is. But what they often do, though, is they lure you in. They say, look, this is an issue that exists that very few people are aware of, and you've got this issue, and I'm going to help you fix that issue. Isn't it lucky for you that you found me? And just tell me, and I'll do it for you now. And that's it. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, how lucky am I? Like that, you can clear this mark that's on me, or whatever it is that they say. But it's just a ruse. It's something you haven't heard about before, ever. And now you've heard about it, and it's urgent that you get it cleared. So it'll be something like that. Very red flag when you look at it with your eyes open, but you wouldn't necessarily think it's red flag because you think, oh, I'm at this spiritual event, and these other people are here. We're all here because we're all good people. No, very bad people go to those places on purpose because they know good people go to those places.
Yeah. All righty. We got one more dream from Kay. And this one looks very interesting as well. Its title is Something Cool is Happening with the Clouds. Then I was driving on a beautiful small island and I saw my house. but it had a large yellow construction vehicle parked in the driveway. As I drove along, other homes had the same. So I drove further on and saw a street that went uphill. I noticed they were building a house there as well, and I thought it would have a nice view. There was only the foundation poured, and as I drove up the hill, I ran over the foundation a little and left a small tire track through the foundation. All right, Michael, we'll stop here. There's more to this dream, but
All right. So the construction scenes symbolize foundational ascension work, like we're in the time of the ascension. People working on themselves spiritually, especially because the foundation work's been done in the front of the houses. Now, not everybody is doing it. That's why the vehicles are not in every driveway. But she can see who is. These vehicles show spiritual development in progress at this residence, let's say. And her car's tire mark across a foundation, that's about her unintentionally crossing into someone else's unfinished structure, like a warning about getting entangled karmically with others. You never want to do that. But also notice the track. Her last dream showed that she can trace things back to find the culprit. And this dream shows her ability to see tracks again. Like, isn't it great when you look at an ability somebody has and then you see the next dream and the next dream and the next dream, even though it's not necessarily about that, you'll go, oh, there's that other gift that one of the dreams focused on specifically. And so I love that.
so is the foundation really being built on a road? Is that an issue?
Yeah, so I asked her about that because she ran over the foundation and she's just driving on the road. And she said, yeah, so all the work was being done, but this one, it was like taking over a good bit of the road. And that's a red flag too. Nothing should be in your path that obstructs you. If your neighbors were putting on an extension on their house and they were going to block access to the road to everybody who lived past them, they'd be in court. So it's a red flag in a dream, it's a red flag in reality. But it's done deliberately so that she would bump into these people. And we're going to see that in the next piece, really, that deliberate lure to get her talking to somebody.
Mm. And so what is the uphill? So she saw a street that went uphill and that's what she drove up, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and she says in the next piece that she stopped to look at the water. So we know it's a spiritual dream. And we know going uphill in a dream is also about raising your vibration, and doing all that foundational work is all quite positive.
Okay, so I better continue on then. I turned the car around to look out at the water. Oh, that was the next part. You were right. A chauffeur, male, drove up with a few other people. I was sitting on the hood and talking to the folks in the car. It was a convertible, so I could sit near them and chat. They were asking me what my name was, and I said Kay. And they were asking stuff about spirituality, and I was answering. I told them I could take them up high and help them with their karma. I then slid into the front seat with the chauffeur, and he started driving us somewhere. The lady to the right of me was giving me her business card. I looked, and she was a realtor, and she wanted to make an appointment with me regarding my island home. She gave me 2 pieces of paper with different times on it. One was 7 o'clock, and I don't remember the other time. I thought those were for someone else. Okay, Michael, I don't like the fact that she got in the car with these people.
No,
Anyways.
That's the trick. The chauffeur and the passengers represent outside groups wanting her power. The realtor symbolizes offers that seem spiritual because she's talking about spiritual things. The chauffeur's asking her about spiritual things, and she's given a card, a business card with 7 on it. So it's like, it looks like this is a spiritual business I'm trying to start. But actually, it's to exploit her. So really the message, same as the message in her first dream and her second dream, don't trust groups. This one is specifically groups. Watch out for groups finding you and discussing spiritual things with you. This lures you in. And it is a lure. She'd talk to the devil about it. They pull up beside her and they talk about spiritual things. She gets lured into the conversation and into their confidence. And in no time at all, she's in their car helping them. Now, I wanted to make sure we got to this dream because for Kay, all of this is a warning about the future. And it's telling her to be aware of this so you don't get lured in. So that's really important. She shouldn't wake up people who shouldn't be woken up, like that person who was sleeping in the other dream. So we can see the symbolism appearing in the other dreams too. And when I channeled, I was told, She's only to work with people who are already awake. And so you look back at the dream, she can tell who is awake because she can see the construction vehicles in the houses of people who are clearly awake because they're working on themselves. And it's not all of them. And if she helps the wrong person or group, it drains her energy and delays her progress. And she goes, oh, I know this one. But that's also a win for the other side because she's not only helping the wrong team, but she's not working with who she should be working with. So it's a double win for them. So the takeaway, don't wake those who aren't ready. She's meant to help the already awake rise faster, not drag sleepers uphill. So we see, you asked about the going uphill. She has this special ability to raise people's vibration. And then we even see that ability. We see it symbolically with driving up the hill. And then we see it being called out in the dream because she says she can do it.
Yeah. And then what about getting in the front seat with the chauffeur?
Yeah, mistake altogether. They made it easy for her to get in. And like the dream continues on. She's not saying, why am I in the car? But clearly she's wondering why she's in the car.
Yeah, especially someone else driving. That's never a good sign in a dream, is it?
No, but it looks okay because the chauffeur looks okay. So you'd actually have to channel on this. Like, what is he doing? And he really represents a rogue person who can see her gift and deliberately singles her out to help a group he is aligned with, a nefarious group. He's not necessarily nefarious, but he's decided to align himself with a nefarious group. Not everybody is good. And the evidence for it is here. It's basically that, you read the next piece, it's like she's kidnapped in the car.
Mm. Then we were on a ferry heading back to the mainland, and I said, oh, my house was on the island. The chauffeur looked at me like he would bring me back after he dropped everybody else off.
Yeah, not good at all. She's, that's what I said. She's basically kidnapped. But she goes along with it. She's too trusting, like they said in the first dream. Don't trust. And this one is like, don't trust groups. Just because people come in and they say the right words and they look authentic, she has the ability through her team to validate credentials. And she really should do it. And the dream continued on and showed some more of her gifts that showed why they would be interested in her. But I stopped here because I think it made the point enough.
Wow. Do you think she came here prepared, knowing that she had all of these gifts and now she's got to really check?
Yeah. A lot of people live their life in two parts. Like you live, let's say, a conventional life, then you get woken up and you realize, oh, here's what I'm really here for. And so she's been on that path for some time. So she's very aware of her gifts, very aware that she has quite a few, and is very good at working with people and helping people, and particularly raising people up to make them better at using their own gifts, like helping them reach a higher plateau with their own energy. And so now it's just a case of, okay, you've played with that for a while, and now we want you to be aware that there's rogues in the field. And she's aware of this, but then it's like, now to this extent that we know you're going to be targeted in the future. We want you to be aware of this. We want to let you know how you can spot people who are rogues, how we can look behind the mask for you. You just needed to know that you can ask us to do that. And we're super excited and happy to do it for you, and so on and so on and so on. And that you can track back who the bad actor is that knocks other people off their stride. I mean, it's a whole set. This is no coincidence. Her life has gone the way it's gone because it needed to go the way it's gone. Because if somebody just comes up to you and says, there's rogues in the field, you'll be like, yeah, I don't know about that, Michael. I've never seen any. So sometimes we need to see it. We need to hit a problem. And then we go, I know that because I've hit that problem. And we think sometimes, oh, I've gone off path, but we haven't. Just something needed to happen to make us be very aware.
Mm. So how do you know, what is the sign in this dream that tells us it's going to happen in the future and hasn't already happened?
Because she's already stopped. Like she goes up and stops, and then she's sitting there and somebody comes up to her. So like, it's kind of like a future event in the dream. They weren't already there. But it was more that the channeling says it. And when the channeling says it, I look and go, okay, yeah, it still fits in the dream. But it just is what it is. Like I said, people go to spiritual events to target others at those events who have very unusual gifts. And so what tends to happen is the people who have been targeted in the past, they stop going to these things because they know that that's the case. And they will just ask their own team, their own angel team, is it okay for me to go to this event or to do that course or to work with that person? And that's really what this is trying to do. And that's what we're trying to make a point of on the show, is that we all need to be vigilant of this. Clearly, I picked somebody who has some very special gifts, and her dreams show her she needs to be vigilant because she's going to be a target and has been a target in the past. But it's as important for all of us as it is for Kay.
Well, I fully agree with that. I mean, how many times have we had to clear people that walked into an event and had no idea what they had walked into?
Oh, yeah. Or even say to somebody, don't do this course with this person. And then they do the course with the person. And then they come back and go, oh, now I see why you said don't do it. And I'm in trouble. Can you help me? And we do.
Yeah. It's very interesting, Michael.
Very annoying.
I'm sure it is for both you and them, especially when they come back and go, oh my God, you were right. This is bad. I need help.
So that's it for this week. We are out of time. Interesting topic. Let us know if you like it, whether we should do more like this in the future. Just put something in the comments to say yeah.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's definitely different than what we've covered before, and I think it's a good subject to talk about and at least bring forward so people, it's not to make you wary, it's more to just make you thorough. I like that word, being thorough.
I love it. Dream-analysis.com if you want to get the dictionary free, which will soon be an app, by the way, but you can get that and look at your own dreams, try figure them out, or to get the details about how to submit a dream to the show, or to see any of the courses that we have coming up, including our mentorship program that starts on November 2nd. See you next week.